Hey everyone, RedyTAY here again, back at it with another solo Pokemon challenge. Beating Gold with one Abra had a frustrating slow start with a lot of options to beat the game as we progressed. This challenge hopefully will be a bit easier at the beginning but won't have much when it comes to move variety like our previous challenge did. In this video we are taking a look to see if you can beat Pokemon Silver with one Misdreavus. This is an interesting one for sure. I've never used Misdreavus mainly because they don't come around early enough in the game for me to include them to my party when I did past runs. By the time I could catch one, I usually already had an idea how I wanted my party to look, but I'll admit that being the only pure ghost type in this game does seem to have a nice setup. We are only weak to other ghosts and dark type Pokemon. Ignore the immunity to ground type here, this is the generation before abilities were introduced. We don't have Levitate. Stat wise it's kinda meh. I mean, don't get me wrong, we are stronger than a first form starter, but this is kind of the blandest stat arrangement I have ever seen. Did Game Freak just get together last minute one night and go, crap, we forgot to give stats to Misdreavus? And just make the first 3 stats at 60 and the last 3 at 85. Sir, that's kind of on the low side and doesn't really support the gimmick of this being a pure ghost type. You know, a physical attacker. Which is another thing, ghost types are physical in this game? That doesn't really make sense. But you know what, I'm going to stop right there. That's a tangent we don't really need to get into. We have a run to do. But I will say that since Ghost is a physical type, they don't really do Misdreavus any favors here with that attack stat, and I wish our HP looked better too while we're at it. Really, these are all just around mediocre stats, and we really shouldn't dwell on them anymore past that. So moving on, we have Misdreavus moveset. Yeah, this also leaves much to be desired. Psybeam is our only set attacking move, and most of our moves just deal with affecting our opponents in battles in hopes of hindering them without causing damage. Pain Split could be interesting, but I have a feeling I'll probably rarely use it, and you know Parasong is immediately going to go into the trash. Our TM options are slightly better. Look, we still don't have a lot of attacking moves here, and some stable options sure, but again the type variety is almost non-existent. Shadow Ball will be a great pickup, and Sidekick will be nice, but we will be about 80% done with the game by the time we get it. But enough theorizing, let's see how this challenge really rolls out. Basic rules first. I can only use Misdreavus throughout the whole game. HM Pokemon can be used so I can still get around. No cheats or hacks can be used to advance. And I'm still going to be following the trend where no items can be used in the battles except for held items given to Misdreavus before the battle. I don't really know what to expect for this run. I feel like in many ways this will be easier than my previous Abra run, but at the same time we had so many different strategies when it came to move choices Abra could use. Here we won't have that kind of variety. Regardless, let's just jump in. I feel like we'll have a quicker start than last time. So like always, we start the run by visiting Professor Elm and get our Misdreavus. I use the Pokemon randomizer to switch Cyndaquil with Misdreavus so our rival will pick Totodile, just like last time. Again, I'm basing this on the fact that its evolution line likes the newly labeled dark moves like Bite and Crunch, which are moves that we will be extra susceptible to. I named Misdreavus McGann, due to the fact he was mistaken as a ghost when he was first seen, the hair, or maybe I'm just being a silly human that's just trying to find patterns and things. Anyway, stats are looking as I expected them to look, so it might be best that we get a couple levels in while we make our way to Mr. Pokemon and face our rival. Unfortunately, we only have one attacking move at the moment, and it will be our only attacking move for a while. I mean, at least we are starting this run with an attacking move, right Abra? All we have is Psywave, which is a complete bogus move that will deal damage anywhere from 1 HP to 1.5 times the user's level amount of HP. So as we grind on wild Pokemon out here, we're going to be dealing anywhere between 1 to 7 damage to them. Psywave also rounds down if the user's level is not a number because this move just wants to be hated. But it's the only move we have at the moment, so we gotta get grinding here. Battling the wild Pokemon here does give a few takeaways. As you can see, the random dodge roll for Psywave can be a nuisance. Well, first time using it and we miss, but the second move did alright. That being said, I know there are going to be several 1 damage attacks in our future. Given this move's gimmick, there's a good chance that we won't have the best luck with these rolls. As for a move that's 80% accurate, it seems to miss more than that. We are gaining experience from these battles, but thanks to the little damage we are sometimes dealing and the occasional missed moves, we usually run out of power points for Psywave and need to go back and heal up. The positive takeaways? Well, it doesn't take as long to level up, and you can tell I don't use Ghost a lot in my party because I get more excitement than I should out of the fact that none of these wild Pokemon have moves to hit us with. Thank God basic Pokemon moves are usually normal. Also, this is a bit random, but I work on these challenges on the later portion of the day, and that shows when you play Generation 2 games. It's all thanks to my job taking place during the day, and by the time I get around to actually playing, it's well into the nighttime portion of the game. Normally it bothers me because I want to show more daytime play, but this time it really fits the spooky ghost vibe playing at night. Well, we get one level out of battling wild Pokemon as we make our way to Professor Oak and Mr. Pokemon. I was hoping for at least another level by the time we get to face our rival, and when we do face him, it becomes an uneventful battle. He doesn't really have much he can do to us besides Leer due to Totodile's moveset against our ghost typing, and we just spam Psywave till he goes down. Surprisingly, it only takes 3 moves. Our luck is looking much better than it did in the previous attempt of me completing this challenge. I'll talk about that later on in the video. With this start of the game done, let's get going on leveling up so we are ready against Faulkner. Okay, so heading to Violet City is a great example on why this challenge sucks at the beginning. We get past Youngster Joe just fine. What else is new? But what I wasn't expecting was the trouble we get from Youngster Mikey. You know, the youngster none of us remember. We are already low on power points for Psywave, but we have enough to take out the Pidgey. However, we do not have enough to take out the RedyTAY that followed. It also really doesn't help that when Psywave does land, because like I said, it is obvious from the footage the move misses a lot, it barely deals any damage. It doesn't take long for us to run out of power points for Psywave. From here, we have no choice but to struggle. There's just a few problems here. The main thing is we haven't exhausted all our power points for the other moves, and the second problem are the moves that we have left to use up. We have Growl with 40 power points, so we have to waste everyone's time by taking 40 turns to deplete that move. With that, there's a good possibility that RedyTAY will be able to hit us because this whole time, RedyTAY has had to attack us with Tackle, which we're immune to due to its ghost typing. But once RedyTAY runs out of moves itself, it will have to struggle, which officially became typeless in this generation, which means it will damage us. It is a race to get the struggle, and we are at a disadvantage. To make the situation worse, the other move we have to get rid of is Spite, which only has 10 power points, but the whole gimmick of this move is to remove a bunch of power points of the last move your opponent used. So for once this move is rapidly helping our opponent get to the point of the battle which it can attack us, we are still stuck with having to burn through 50 turns of using dud moves. As you would expect, RedyTAY got to struggle first and wasn't doing a whole lot of damage, so it wasn't too scary. We do fall into yellow health, but thanks to the berry we got at the beginning of the game, we heal back up and soon RedyTAY is in red health thanks to its own recoil damage, where we finally get to use struggle to take it out. Now I'm kind of frustrated that I have to repeat this portion of the challenge, but that's okay. We started the run, we are moving. Honestly, I feel like luck is on our side this time and Psywave will not screw us over as much as it had in the first attempt of this run. We get to level 8 by the time we get to Violet City, and it would be a pretty safe assumption that we are not at a good spot here to take on Faulkner. So we go battle every trainer in Bellsprout Tower for some levels. We need the experience so we can pad our defense, and with each level we gain, the better luck we have with Psywave dealing more damage. Battling here is another reminder that it would be smart to leave and heal up after every battle. There's no way Psywave is an 80% accuracy move. This attack misses just about as much as it lands, and we are still getting some bad rolls of the dice on some of these turns. I would win a battle, move on to the next one, and halfway through run out of power points. Well, I'm not going to ride that struggle bus again, so I back up, restart the previous battle, leave to heal at the Poké Center, and then head back to the tower for the next one. We are leveling up well enough though. Began at least makes leveling up easy in that regard. Learning Confuse right here is nice, but also unreliable, and together with Psywave, wasn't enough for us to pull the win from the last monk in the tower. Okay, that's more like it. If you can't tell, I don't like relying on chance and luck when it comes to strategy. I mean, in a way, there really isn't much strategy when it comes to luck in the first place. I'm glad when Psywave and Confuse Ray do what they're supposed to do, but I hate relying on such unpredictable moves. Especially when you throw accuracy and luck lowering moves like Mud Slap into the mix, which you just know Faulkner is going to use. But let's top our level off at level 14 and see how we do. Pidgey's out like always and we confuse it with Confuse Ray. Despite that, we still get hit by a Mud Slap and suffer an accuracy drop. Psywave does land, but doesn't deal much in damage. Oh look, we get another accuracy drop from Mud Slap, yay. Luckily, we still are able to have another Psywave connect for a good chunk of damage, but from there we spend several rounds of missing Psywave while we keep getting pelted with Mud Slaps. Enough time passes where Pidgey snaps out Confusion, so we have to get it confused again with another Confuse Ray. Eventually we get a turn where Pidgey hurts itself in Confusion, which deals just enough damage for it to faint. Now we have to deal with Pidgeotto, but our accuracy is pretty trashed right now. So much that we don't get Confuse Ray to land until the 4th attempt. During all that time, Magan has been getting chipped away from gusts. We are fortunate that Pidgeotto does hurt itself in Confusion from back-to-back turns, and even though we miss some Psywaves, one does land to deal enough damage to bring it to yellow health. Soon after though, Pidgeotto snaps out Confusion, and we can't seem to land another Confuse Ray due to our terrible accuracy. We are still taking gusts by the way, and before we know it, Magan is standing with only 6 health. I decided we should switch game plans here. So, as a bit of a Hail Mary, I decided to have Magan shoot one more Psywave, and thankfully it lands, and has enough power to knock out Pidgeotto. Wow, a first try victory. I mean, we almost lost it, and we easily could have, but hey, it's a win. So heading to Azalea Town is a lot like traveling we have done so far in this run. Battle a trainer, maybe 2, go to the Pokemon Center to heal up, go back out to battle, and repeat. Despite that, things are going pretty good this time around. And we had really good Psywave and Confuse Ray luck against the hikers in Union Cave. Even Hiker Anthony was easy, which was nice considering I feel like he has given us issues in my other Generation 2 runs. But before we left the cave, I went and took the TM39 Swift. This move is a must for the time being. Sure, it's not the most powerful move, but it never misses and it's pretty static when it comes to damage output, so it's a really attractive option at the moment. It is the complete opposite of the rest of the moveset Magan has at the moment, and I'm hoping it will carry us through Bugsy and our upcoming rival battle. Before jumping into that though, I want us to get a little more experience from Team Rocket Grunts and Slowpoke well. Not much to report here, we just spam Swift and all the grunts go down rather easily. Yeah, Psywave could have hit harder in this battle, but also could have hit less too, and since we got poisoned early, I didn't want to risk us wasting turns with us missing an attack or dealing low damage. Next up is Bugsy. Battling the trainers at the gym went really smoothly, and before you know it, we are facing the gym leader. Metapod just used a String Shot and Harden, so 3 Swifts takes it out quick enough. Similar story with Kakuna, but the little insect is able to poison us while it has what has to be 1 health remaining. Scyther's out, he's faster than us and starts his Furry Cutter. We confuse it with Confuse Ray in hopes it breaks the Fury Cutter streak. From there, Magan spams Swift. It's a race for us to chip away at Scyther while poison damage keeps accruing and Scyther keeps trying to power up his Fury Cutter. After a few turns, Scyther finally gets hit in its confusion, breaking its Fury Cutter streak and putting it in damage range for 1 more Swift to take it out. Wow, another first try victory. I will take it. Let's see if we can keep this success going against our rival. Magan's first Psywave does a great job dropping Ghastly into yellow health. Ghastly's returning Lick doesn't deal as much damage, but we are now basically paralyzed right out the gate. Our next Sidewave is a bad roll and just takes Ghastly to red health, and our next turn is wasted due to paralysis. We are still taking some damage from Lick during all this. Eventually we take Ghastly down, Zubat is now out, and both of our turns are wasted from Magan being paralyzed and Zubat Supersonic missing. Swift hits hard enough that we should be able to take Zubat out in 2 turns, but we are being stalled here due to more paralysis and bite flinching. We eventually get a chance where we can actually use Swift and take Zubat out. Last out's Croconaw, and it's spamming Water Gun to take us down. We confuse it right away, quickly realize the Swift doesn't really hit that hard, and in the next turn we tried to see if Sidewave could help us. I'm amazed that it actually decided to hit that hard. Croconaw is now in red health just like us, and we still might be able to win this. Wait, never mind. Croconaw snapped out Confusion and easily finished us off with Water Gun. Okay, well, that's bad paralysis luck. This next attempt will be better. In the rematch, we treat the part against Ghastly just like we did in the last attempt. Confuse it with Confuse Ray and spam Psywave. Ghastly is using Lick just like last time, but this time we were extremely lucky in not getting paralyzed by it. The first Psywave that lands didn't do much, but the second one more than made up for it, causing the takedown. We are now faster than Zubat thanks to not being paralyzed, so we can't flinch from bite and 2 Swifts quickly take it out. Croconaw is last out again, and we are sticking with confusing it right out of the gate. I am real glad we do that too, because we are missing multiple Psywaves here, and Croconaw is hitting himself in confusion every single time. Psywave does hit eventually, and luckily it's another great roll. 1 Swift is all we need to finish this exchange. That's more like it. Onward to Goldenrod. Whitney would be a really easy fight thanks to our immunity to normal attacks, but we know Whitney is a big fan of rollout and that can definitely hit us. We just have to make sure we can break her streak if she starts building one. Speaking of which, I do stop by and talk to the guy in the Ilex Forest that gives you the TM for Headbutt. Yeah, I know, Misdreavus can learn Headbutt. Seems weird to me too, considering they are ghosts and don't have a physical head, but yet here we are with the option to teach Megan Headbutt. And you know what? I'm not going to use it. Yet. Don't get me wrong, we are pretty fast here in this part of the game, and a flinching possibility would be great against the rollout from Whitney's Miltank, like I was talking about, but I feel like this is a commonly used attack in my runs, and honestly, I like our current moveset. Confuse Ray could still be useful in breaking the rollout streak, its Spite is still useful in wasting power points for rollout as well. Let's see how we do with this current move pool, and if we can't handle it with this, then we will teach Megan Headbutt. In the very near future, it will not be wise for us to get rid of our non-normal attacking moves just to replace it with a normal attack. We get to Whitney and we are not having good luck in this situation. Clefairy takes 3 swifts, and I don't feel like messing with unreliable Psywaves here. Metronome is even more of a gamble, and it pays off for Clefairy when it lands on Pain Split, which doesn't hurt as bad as I thought it would, but still, that's a good bit of damage. And hey, that's our move. I mean, we don't have that attack yet, but I feel like that move was supposed to be Misdreavus' gimmick. Anyway, Clefairy soon goes down, and from here we are suffering more bad luck. We are able to confuse Miltank, but this thing never takes confusion damage. It does hit us with rollout, but it never is really able to get a good streak going, and that's nice at least. We are having similar bad luck with us not being able to land Sidewave though. No Swift is not going to deal as much damage as I was hoping, so maybe Sidewave will finally work the way we want. We are in red health by the time Sidewave finally connects to deal a very subpar amount of damage, and it shouldn't come as a surprise that we go down from another rollout. It's not Headbutt time yet though. Let's give this another go. Clefairy still takes 3 swifts to take out, but we are perfectly fine by the time it fades thanks to the fact that Metronome only rolled out normal attacks. We are at a nice full amount of health when Miltank comes out. This time it takes confusion damage right out of the gate thanks to our Confuse Ray. Our Sidewave still deals about the same amount of damage, so we still have a long way to go from here. Miltank suddenly snaps out confusion, but we quickly get it reconfused after it misses rollout. It takes some more confusion damage while we miss a Sidewave. Come on guys, we need some good luck here. More confusion damage for Miltank, taking it to almost half health, but it's still enough for us to finally have a good Sidewave land that deals enough damage to take Miltank out. Well, there we go, no damage sweep on the second try, no Headbutt too, and it will definitely not be of any use in the next gym against Morty. I am a little worried about Morty on paper. Ghost attacks are super effective on ghosts, and Shadow Ball can be an extremely powerful move here, especially if it causes a special defense drop. Then we have to worry about Curse and Spite really hindering us. We don't have any ghost moves ourselves, which I know is weird, but there's some hope on the horizon. All of Morty's ghosts are part poison as well, so a good psychic move would do wonders here. Psywave is nowhere near a good psychic move, but we are only one level away from learning Psybeam, which can be passable. We are going to battle the trainers leading up to Ecruteak City, and by the time we get there, we should be ready for Morty. And by the time we come face to face with Morty, we are at level 32, and more than prepared to get the win. The Gasling both hunters go down to a single Psybeam each. Gengar survives a Psybeam but fails to put Megan to sleep with hypnosis, so another Psybeam takes it out. Pretty anticlimactic. But we now have the team for Shadow Ball, and that's a huge pickup. 80 power ghost move that's going to hit even harder due to it being stabbed when Megan uses it. Also, the chance of it lowering the opponent's special defense is a nice bonus too. Well, we now have half the Johto gym badges, and we're at the usual fork in the road on where to go next. I know I usually go to Olivine to take care of the Jasmine and Chuck part of the story, but this time I'm going to switch things up and go to the Lake of Rage and battle Price. But first, let's take on the Kimono Girls and face our rival real quick while we're at it. Maybe I should have fought our rival before facing Morty, because this went really smoothly. Honor went down to one Shadow Ball, Zubat went down to a single Psybeam, Crocodile survived the Shadow Ball, gave a super effective but still weak bite, and then went down to a Swift. Last out was Magnemite, which went down the same way. I keep forgetting that ghost moves are not real strong against steel types. I am not looking forward to the Jasmine fight. But hey, we're not going to worry about that now. We've got Team Rocket we have to kick out of Mahogany Town, which doesn't take long. Battling those two grunts over and over can be tedious, and I did get a little lost in here because I forgot part of the layout for a second, but the actual battles went smooth enough thanks to Shadow Ball and Psybeam hitting hard enough. It was a similar story when it came to fighting Price in the Ice Gym. I probably spent more time gliding over the ice tiles to get to him than actually battling him. He really just ended up spamming Shadow Ball and his Pokemon went down in 2 turns at the most. Blizzard was a little scary, but yeah, another badge down and we are going to head to the Olivine City Lighthouse. Battling here was smooth sailing and so was getting the Cianwood. Chuck's should be the easiest gym badge we get in this game. He focuses on fighting types, which just so happens to be one of the 2 types we are immune to. There really shouldn't be any hiccups here, and really this gym just serves as a place for us to get some extra experience before facing Jasmine. Yep, Psybeams all the way, and I didn't take any damage the whole time I was in the gym. I don't think we are ready for Jasmine at the moment, but let's jump in and give it a go so we can see what things look like. Not good. It doesn't look good. Not good at all. In my previous attempt of this challenge, before I lost my footage, I remember that Jasmine was at the time the hardest part of the run so far. I got lucky with the first Magnemite randomly missing its Thunder Wave, but we still got paralyzed thanks to the second one. From there we were slower than Steelix, and even with our stab Shadow Ball, we aren't even taking a quarter of its health and damage. The special defense drop is nice, but we don't really get much of an opportunity to capitalize on it. Well, I'm not going to give this a lot of attempts. We need to get one of our good old-fashioned paralysis cure berries, and we need to level up to a point where we can one-shot the Magnemites so we aren't paralyzed by the time Steelix comes out. After battling the swimmers by the Whirlpool Islands and some wild Pokemon, we get to level 52 and we give Jasmine a try. Shadow Ball is not strong enough to one-shot Magnemite, but it is in deep red health, so that is good. It also decides to waste a turn by using Supersonic, which Misdreavus is immune to, so even better. The second Magnemite is also in red health after our first Shadow Ball, but it does stick with Jasmine's usual plan of paralyzing Magan with Thunder Wave. We are completely prepared for this though thanks to the Paralysis Cure Berry, and soon that Magnemite also goes down and we are face to face with Steelix at full health and not paralyzed. I immediately switched to using Confusion Ray to confuse Steelix, and I am so glad I did. For the next few turns, Steelix hurts itself in confusion while we pelt it with Shadow Balls. We do cause a couple of special defense drops during the stretch too, so things are looking pretty good. We do eventually get hit by a couple of Iron Tails, but by that point we already got Steelix in red health. I switched to Psybeam thinking that it'll hit just hard enough for the knockout, but I forgot that Jasmine will heal Steelix to full health with a Hyper Potion. Despite that, our Psybeam easily takes Steelix to yellow health. Well, those special defense drops must have really added up. Since Jasmine had just used a healing item, we get a chance to immediately attack again, so another Psybeam was all was needed to pull off the win. Yeah, the confusing damage and special defense drops were lucky, but I'll take that win, since I remember struggling for a long time in my previous run, and I'm really happy how this battle turned out. Onward to more Team Rocket battles, but we all know the only part that really matters for this challenge is the rival battle. But wait, I just remembered that I didn't get around to showing you Magan's stats at level 50. Well, at level 52 things are looking like this. Moveset wise, I feel like we might need to make some changes. Pain Split is not really being used much, and is almost a wasted space on that moveset. We really only have 2 attacking moves, and when we are on long legs, like here battling Team Rocket, we can easily run out of power points for our attacks. Stat wise, I like what I see. We don't really care about that attack stat too much, and I wish that defense was higher, but I like where we are when it comes to Magan's special attack, special defense, and speed. Like I said, we really only have 2 attacking moves, but when it comes to the Team Rocket grunts, that's really all you need thanks to all the poison types they have. We get to our rival soon enough, and Golbat goes down quickly to Psybeam, and a couple of Shadow Balls does the same to Sneasel. Feraligatr is still standing in red health after Shadow Ball, but at least its super effective bite really isn't doing much damage. Psybeam soon knocks it out. Despite our large level lead against Magnemite, it still survives with a sliver from Magan's Shadow Ball. The good news is we dodged his Thunder Wave though, so that's nice. We use Psybeam again for the knockout. We end the battle Ghost vs Ghost, Misdreavus vs Haunter, and since Magan is faster, we attack first with Shadow Ball, which is strong enough for the one-shot. With us beating the rival, we are now officially farther than we were in my previous failed attempt, if you call data corruption a source of failure. Earlier I had a software update go wrong and I lost all the footage from the previous run. Then I made matters worse trying to use some file recovery software that messed up my operating system. Long story short, it was a mess and I'm so relieved to get things back to how they were. And from here on out, we are in new territory when it comes to beating the game with Misdreavus. I'm not sure what to really expect with Claire, so let's jump in as soon as we get to the Blackthorn Gym. Okay, so we're at level 60 by the time we battle Claire, and that is a pretty sizable level lead, which means that it shouldn't be surprising that one Shadow Ball is all that is needed to one-shot all 3 of the Dragonairs. I mean, it was a little tense since her health bar moves slower than usual after the attack, and you probably won't feel that level of suspense considering the footage will be sped up. Regardless, they all go down with a single attack each, which means no damage taken, and even better, no paralysis from Thunderwave. Last out is Kingdra, and I wasn't surprised at all that it's still standing after a Shadow Ball. We take a little damage from a Surf and finish it off with another Shadow Ball. So that might sound like a great wrap up for the gym battles, and it was, but I don't think that translates well when it comes to us being ready for the Elite Four. I'm not really worried about Will, Bruno, or Koga. Actually, I guess I never really fully thought about how advantageous our type and attacks are for the Elite Four. Obviously the real threat in this run is Karen, and Shadow Ball can still hit pretty hard, but that is the only attacking move we can use for most of the battle. We can't use Side Beam against our dark types, but we could benefit from some good Confuse luck from Confuse Ray, so things could go our way. Maybe Pain Split. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not really sure how much I want Magan to keep that move. It could be really advantageous for Magan to have another special attack move that's not Psychic or Ghost type. All that being said, moving through Victory Road is going really smoothly, except we actually lost our rival on the first try here. I know, that is surprising, but it all started when his Magneton hung on from Shadow Ball and paralyzed us with Thunder Wave. It soon went down from there, but we were hindered from taking down Haunter because of our status condition. From there we were soon hit with a Confuse Ray, Shadow Ball, and Curse, so we were getting hit and accumulating a lot of damage from status conditions. We do get around to beating Haunter, but with Feraligatr next, we just can't last long enough to take it out. I feel like that loss was all based off bad luck. Here we go again, with Sneasel going down to 2 Shadow Balls, and Golbat faints after a single Side Beam. We took a little damage from Fury Cutter, but other than that, we were doing okay here. Now Magneton is out, and I'm sticking with Shadow Ball here. Wow, that's a critical hit. We really needed that. From here, Haunter is out, and we are not paralyzed, leading to a Shadow Ball, causing an easy knockout. Shadow Ball, however, isn't strong enough to take out Feraligatr, but it's only using Water Gun, so we are still looking good after feints from a Side Beam. All that is left is Kadabra, and yeah, Shadow Ball wraps this battle up quick. Well, now we're in front of Elite Four, so let's see how Magan is looking before jumping in. Attack is our weakest stat, but still is in the triple digits, and Shadow Ball being stabbed still makes it a killer move. Our stats are looking pretty good in my opinion, especially with our specials and speed. Defense is a tiny bit lower, but I think it could still hold its own in these battles. I still kind of wish we had another attacking move besides Side Beam and Shadow Ball, but I don't really know what move I would choose. Let's just get going on facing the Elite Four and see how things truly look. So I wish I had a little bit more to report when it comes to facing Will, but there just isn't. Spamming Shadow Ball and taking no damage. Ghost type just isn't a type the game thinks you're going to be using a lot by this point of the game. It's a very similar story against Koga. Shadow Ball can one-shot Ariados, and Side Beam can do the same against Venomoth. Fortress is out, and I am well aware how tanky this thing can be. I use Confuse Ray hoping for some good confusion luck. We aren't doing a lot of damage, but we are rolling pretty well when it comes to Fortress accruing confusion damage. It does lay spikes, which is useless, and we do waste the Shadow Ball due to it using Protect, but a Side Beam takes it out in the end. Muck is next, survives the Side Beam, minimizes, and then feints from another Side Beam. Last is Crobat, which hangs on to Sliver with Side Beam. It responds with a double team, and Koga heals it to full health. Our following Side Beam misses, but the next one brings Crobat back down to a Sliver. We finally take some damage from a weak wing attack and knock out Crobat with another Side Beam. Side Beam is also the way to go against Bruno, and yeah, again, there isn't much to report. Side Beams all the way and one-shots all the way down. Oh, well, Machamp survives Side Beam. Well, its Foresight would be kind of scary if it wasn't for the fact that Bruno heals Machamp with a Max Potion. That gives us a chance to shoot back-to-back Side Beams, which obviously Machamp can't handle. Sorry guys, these battles haven't been the most interesting, but this next one might be the one to watch. Karen is a Dark type. I know you can't see, but I'm using air quotes on Dark because not all of our Pokemon are Dark type, which those will be easy to take care of. But for the Pokemon that are Dark type, we will have to be careful. We only have one attacking move, Shadow Ball, that we can use against them, and it won't be effective. Here we go, let's see how this goes down. Well, there you go. We don't even make it past Umbreon. Shadow Ball isn't hitting hard enough, and despite the fact we both were taking confusion damage thanks to matching Confuse Rays, we hit ourselves in confusion more than it seems like. Let's give this another go and see how things play out. Well, this time we beat Umbreon without taking any damage, and it was purely due to the fact that it hurt itself in confusion for every single one of its turns. All those little takeaways of damage along with our Shadow Balls allows us to come out unscathed. Murkrow's Feint Attack takes us to yellow health, but we still come out on top in the end. Karen then goes straight to sending out her ace, Houndoom. From here we spam Pain Split, which heals us and allows us to survive some crunches, but in the end we are damaging Houndoom, which means we can't heal from it enough to actually last its own attacks. We soon go down, and I think this is a sign that we need another move in our moveset. Well, what can we add to potentially replace Pain Split? Honestly, looking at the team list, we don't have a lot of options at the moment that could be of any use. We could use Headbutt, but our attack isn't exactly the best and we're actually slower than Houndoom, so flinching is not going to happen. Thunder would be nice as long as it doesn't miss, and if we could guarantee a special defense drop from Shadow Ball before using it, it would hit really hard. We don't have the return TM because I didn't think about grabbing it, and I'm currently playing this late on a Monday night, so we would have to wait about a week before we could get it. Well, we're still going to go to Goldenrod real quick and grab the TM for Thunder. Am I thrilled about the accuracy? No. But if it does hit, it should hit pretty hard and we might need it against Lance as well. I'm so thankful that we have enough money to convert into coins to get the TM at the game corner. Okay, let's see if this new move will be helpful against Karen. Well, Thunder hits Umbreon right out of the gate and it paralyzes it, so this is a great start. It's not able to move right after, so even better. Shadow Ball doesn't take Umbreon out, so we do have to take some damage from Feint Attack, but another Shadow Ball finishes this exchange. Murkrow's next, and I could use Thunder, but I don't want to risk it missing, so I stick with Shadow Ball here. Yeah, it still isn't strong enough for a knockout, but Murkrow wastes a turn with Whirlwind, so we still get to take down Murkrow completely unscathed. Karen then immediately goes to sending out her big gun, Houndoom. I don't want to take any chances here, but I also would like to have some extra insurance with some confusion damage, so I decide to use Confuse Ray as soon as it comes out. It works well considering Houndoom hurts itself on its first turn. Now we just need Thunder to not miss. Wow. Okay, I am actually really surprised that it's strong enough for the one shot. I mean, Umbreon was still in yellow health when it got struck. I might have misjudged Houndoom's special defense here. Anywho, Karen's last two Pokemon aren't even Dark type and can easily taken down with one move. Vileplume with Psybeam, Gengar with Shadow Ball. Lance is going to be tough, but we are still hard hitting, and his Pokemon don't really resist our moves, so let's see who has more firepower here. Gyarados is first out and Thunder makes short work of it. The first Dragonite soon follows and we get extremely lucky missing its Thunder Wave. Two Shadow Balls from us though take it out. And that luck does not hold with the second one though, as we soon get paralyzed. Thunder hits hard but is still standing in yellow health. Not to worry though, we take surprisingly little damage from a Blizzard and finish off this Dragonite with a Shadow Ball. Aerodactyl is faster than us and does deal some damage with Rock Slide, but we wrap it up quickly with Thunder. Charizard is also faster than us, giving it the lead as we trade rounds of Flamethrowers and Shadow Balls. Charizard goes down, but we are kind of in a scary place with only having 53 health remaining. Okay, it got even scarier now that we are in 13 health after the last Dragonite comes out and immediately starts swinging with Outrage. I start to worry that starting this exchange with Confuse Ray might have been a bad idea, but Dragonite does hurt itself on the next turn. We are already in a tight spot, but I decide we need to take a gamble here, so Thunder it is. Please don't miss. Oh boy. Not only are we lucky in it not missing, but that critical hit was extremely clutch. Wow, that was an extremely close battle. We had some major clutch confusion and paralysis luck there at the end, but still, that was a really good battle. We are now Pokemon champions, but we all know that the game does not end here. We technically have all of Kanto and Red left, so let's get going on that. Like most challenges, there isn't much to say about the majority of the gym leaders in Kanto, but there is some housekeeping that we need to do while we're over here if we want to increase our chances of beating Red. Two big things we need to get is the TM for Psychic to replace Psybeam, and Leftovers for some extra healing on the side while we battle. It doesn't take that long to get to Blue, which is the only real Kanto leader that is worth talking about. Blue starts the battle by sending out Pidgeot, which we take down promptly with Thunder. Psychic also makes quick work with Rhydon, and then we move back to Thunder when Gyarados comes out. Shadow Ball hits Arcanine hard, but not enough for it to faint. It responds with a Roar, which sends one of our HM Pokemon out. We switch back to Megan and quickly knock Arcanine out. From here, Shadow Ball is a one-shot for Blue's last 2 Pokemon, Executor and Alakazam. We are now officially on the last chapter of the game, which is defeating Red. I am not sure if we were 100% ready, but I like our level and I feel like we have some good options to tackle the Pokemon on this team that have often caused us problems in past challenges. Well, Pikachu goes down easy enough, but Snorlax is a little bit of a problem. We are simply not hitting hard enough to take him out. He can't do anything to hurt us, so we're not really in danger here, but we ran out of attacking moves we could use against it due to it using Amnesia and spamming Rest. I basically forfeited that battle as a loss and decided to restart the battle. We gave this another attempt and got stalled against Snorlax again. It's frustrating because we aren't technically getting beat here, but our offensive efficiency is so stalled that if we are not careful, we are going to have to struggle against the rest of Red's team. There has to be an instance where we can knock Snorlax out without wasting all of our moves. On our next attempt, at level 84, we take down Pikachu with a single Shadow Ball, and that's pretty efficient. Snorlax is now out, and we immediately confuse it with Confuse Ray. It does an Amnesia, and we miss a Thunder, so we aren't really firing on all cylinders here at the moment. We miss another Thunder, but the silver lining is that by this point Snorlax has now hurt itself twice in Confusion. We do eventually hit Snorlax with Thunder, but soon Snorlax snaps out of Confusion and uses another Amnesia. We confuse it again, and right after it hurts itself again in Confusion, bringing it to yellow health. Our luck then continues with us landing a critical hit Psychic that hits really hard but not enough for the knockout. But just like the majority of this battle, the Confusion luck is in our favor as Snorlax knocks itself out in Confusion. Finally. Let's see how we do against the rest of Red's team now. Venusaur withstands a Psychic, but only sets up a Sunny Day, as Shadow Ball takes it down. Next out is Charizard, and we miss a Thunder. Because of that, we take a nice bit of damage from Flamethrower. Our next Thunder does hit though, and it is strong enough for the one-shot. Blastoise is next, and it survives with a sliver of health from a Thunder. We luckily dodge a Blizzard, and finish this confrontation with another Shadow Ball. All that is left for Red, and the rest of the game, is Espeon. But it should be pretty obvious that all we need was a single Shadow Ball to end the battle. Well, there you go. I feel like that actually might have been the easiest exchange we have ever had with Red. Actually, I could say the same when it comes to fighting the Elite Four as well. I feel like this doesn't mean that Misdreavus is an extremely strong Pokemon, however. We still had a significant level lead for large portions of the game, and there is some limited option when it comes to attacks that Misdreavus can use. I mean, starting the beginning portion of the game with Psywave was brutal at times. The main thing that Misdreavus has going for it is its typing. Being the only pure Ghost type in a generation that was finally getting Ghost type somewhat right for competitive gameplay, that's really advantageous for it. We had an answer for strong Psychic types in the game, and it was a little bit of relief not having to worry about the occasional normal attacks throughout gameplay. Despite the beginning, and the fact that I had to restart the challenge due to technical difficulties, this was a fun challenge. It had some strategy involved and dealt with out-of-the-box thinking, which I actually enjoy in a challenge. My next challenge will be trying to beat Pokemon Blue with a single Geodude, which I'm going to be honest, I actually have already started that one when I was trying to take a break from catching up to this one after I lost my footage, and that challenge has a little bit of a rocky start. Yes, pun intended. But you'll have to check out the video for that to see how things go from there. I hope you like this challenge though. If you have any other challenge suggestions, please let me know, and please also give me pointers on what you think can be done to improve my videos. These are always a work in progress. Anyway, please like and subscribe if you want to see more challenges arriving in the future. In the meantime, Geronimo.